Okay, so today I'm gonna be showing how to fix loose seatbelts on a Mercedes. So this is the condition of the car. It's got loose seatbelts, won't retract every time. Now they're doing it. Okay, well, there you go. So yeah, they don't always retract. So something's wrong with the spring. I'm going to be showing how to open that up. So yeah. Okay, so to start, we're going to have to disconnect the battery because we are working around the seat belt where you have to unplug it, and there's an airbag there, so just to be safe, you unplug that. So we're going to start by removing these two T15 bits right here. So I've just removed those two. Now we're gonna go ahead and remove this panel. Remove all my tools. So that just comes out. Press that down somewhere. Okay, so now this is the compartment. We have these two just little clips to remove. Those are easily removed like that. That pops out, that pops out, and that just comes out like that. You can just make sure you keep these, don't lose these. That one just pops out. And then this whole thing should slide out actually. So let me see if I can get this to show. It's a lot easier if there's not stuff in there, but I'm lazy, so. Okay, just put this down. Now we have access to the battery. On this, it's just gonna be a 10 millimeter, and then we can disconnect the battery. Okay, so I've loosened this one up. This one can be a little bit loose. You gotta kind of like give me a second. Okay, so the ground was a little bit hard to pull off, so I had to pry it off with a screwdriver, but yeah. So you're gonna want to take these off, just put them to the side so that they don't touch, and we're good to go on the interior now. Okay, so now we're gonna be taking this trim off. So to start, there's this little airbag clip. You can just pop that off. Okay, simple. And then there's the 10 millimeter nut under there, so we can just don't want to lose this. It's very important for keeping this tight. Okay, so we got that. And then you can just grab this section. Actually, sorry. First, we're gonna need to take out the rail if you do have the rear shade. There's the rail for it that it goes through. It's pretty simple, just a trim piece, so we're gonna have to take that out. So we can just work a tool under there. So that's one tool. Okay, so I had to use both hands for this, but once you kind of get this front side off, then you can kind of pull it out and get the rest to come out. And then you just kind of pull it out like this, and this is out. So yeah. Now we can just work on this big piece. So just get your hand under here. Let's come out. So these parts, pretty sure there's adhesive on them. just from when the headliner was installed in the factory, so it takes some convincing to separate from the adhesive. There you go. Okay. There you go. And then once that's popped out, you can just pull out this way. And yeah, looks like we lost this clip from here, but it's not broken. Yeah, nothing's broken. This is pretty tough. Not tough difficult, but tough as in it's hard plastic, so it won't break. And this is what it looks like underneath. And yeah, so this is actually the seatbelt that we're going to be going after. It's got this cover over it that you can just kind of pull to the side. We're going to be accessing a T45. So you can see that T45 back there. So we're going to be loosening that, unplugging these two. I just heard that clip fall. Unplugging these two and taking this whole thing out. So yeah. Okay, so now I've got my T45 hex bit on a wrench. So yeah, so you might want something that's a little bit flexible. This one does have a little play in it, so I can reach that angle. But basically, just want to get this back into there. I can move this out of the way more. Wrench just broke. Okay, perfect. So now it's wide open. So I can grab this. So finally got this out. This is what it looks like. Annoyingly long, but I guess that's for safety, right? It is your seatbelt. So now this thing is loose, and we need to disconnect these clips here. So this blue one is actually kind of easy. You can just get your nail down there, push down on this, and open it. This one has the same concept. It's just, I don't have long nails, so move this over here and take it out. So I can actually use one of these pry tools, like this. So push in like that, and pop it up. And now this is loose, and we have access to the seatbelt. So gently bring it over. Here you go. Here is the seatbelt mechanism. So our issue is, so this side, this basically has a spring that is in control. There's like a ball bearing right here that pushes onto something. That basically detects, you know, if the car's upside down or up or down a really steep slope, it'll keep the seatbelt tight, so it locks the seatbelt from extending. That's not our issue. This is the explosive for an accident. It locks the seatbelt. This is where the actual spring for the seatbelt mechanism is. You don't have to touch this, but there's a chance it's out of place, but it's not, from my understanding, because it still works. We just need to essentially wind this spring up. So right now I'm gonna unravel the seatbelt all the way to the end, so it's just nothing left. Let's see if I can. So just to show you, that's that little pin. So that center round part, I'm basically punching out of the clip. It's not hard to do, it's just you need to be a little precise and you need a good punch tool. So yeah, I'm just punching those out and I'll show after. Okay, so I got all those out. If you want to see how that works, right, there's that goes into there and spaces those out, so it basically grabs on. This was connected on like this, right? There's actually a little bit of space under one of these, so you just put a flathead in, pry it open. This is that mechanism that right, so you can tell if the car is upside down, that ball will go out of place, extend that arm and essentially lock this and not allow you to extend it anymore. But now that we have access to it, right, this is not your spring for the actual seatbelt. This is just for that mechanism to lock it. So using that, I'm gonna unravel the seatbelt, and yeah, we just need to get to the end where you can see the end, and we'll go from there. So basically, I'm just spinning this, and it's allowing me to pull this out. So yeah. So this will take a little bit, just show you when it's out. So now we're at the end of the seatbelt. So basically in there, right, that's the end of the seatbelt. It has a little loop with a rod in it. So that seatbelt passes through this wheel, comes out, you put a rod in, and it goes back in and stays in its place. It can't pass through without that, with that rod in between. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull using a screwdriver, pliers, however you can, just pry out that seatbelt, pull it out, remove that rod, and then we're gonna wind up the actual seatbelt gear. So yeah, 1 second. So I basically pried one side up, just got a little pry tool underneath the seatbelt there, pulled it up. I'm gonna use pliers to pull that out and then remove it. So yeah. Okay, so after some convincing, we've got this out. So yeah, it's out like that. I'm just gonna remove the pin from there and then slide the buckle back through. Not the buckle, the seatbelt, sorry. Okay, so there's that, and I've got the actual pin out now. Don't lose that, very important. So now we need to pull that buckle out from the mechanism. Okay, so I needed a little bit of help removing that, but yeah, that's the empty hole. So the seatbelt is out, and now essentially there's nothing on this. We can even unwind that. But yeah, so that's the seatbelt mechanism. So we're gonna go in the direction that winds it up. See how it's spinning, right? We need to basically wind this up more so that it's more tough, and then get that seatbelt back through. So I'm gonna just wind it up by spinning it with my hands. You won't really feel an end, but just keep going until you feel it's very tight. And then just hold it, make sure you don't spin it out. If it spins out of control, it might even loosen up the spring on this side, so just be careful of that. So right now I'm just winding it up, right? I mean, it's a little faster when I use 2 hands. Maybe I can lock this up. So I'm just holding it in place, spin it, and just wind this up. Make sure you don't lose your grip, otherwise you'll undo all of your work. So just gonna keep doing that for a bit, and when it's done, I'll show you guys. Okay, so I have wound it up. I actually suspected that the spring was not in the right place, so I popped this cover open. I'm not gonna do it again, but my spring actually popped out, so I had to rewind it. You can look up a video on how to rewind a recoiled spring or a seatbelt spring. It'll show you. Pretty straightforward, not too bad. So I just rewound that, put it back in, and now I've winded this up about as tight as I feel like it'll go. It's pretty tough. So now we just have to run the seatbelt through that gap and out the other side, and it'll actually rewind itself up and be ready to install. So yeah. Okay, so as you can see, I've got it run through. Now I'm gonna put the pin back in, let it fall into place. Might need a little bit of pushing, and that should be it for the winding of the mechanism.